Dickenson County School Board meeting is now in session. For the record, I'd like to recognize that all of our school board members are present except for Mr. Vanover, who could not be with us today. Tanya Baker, our school board clerk, Scott Mullen, school board attorney, and Haiti Robinson, the division superintendent. At this time, would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and a moment of silence? Board members, we have an agenda for tonight's meeting. Are there any additions or revisions to the agenda?
Mr. Hicks, there are no additions or revisions to the agenda, sir.
All right. Hearing there's no additions or revisions, do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
So moved.
Second. Moved and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. That brings us to public comment. Mr. Hackney, will you please read our guidelines for public comment? And Ms. Martin, will you please be our timekeeper?
Period of time. Test.
There you go.
Period of time for public comment will be designated on the meeting agenda during which the public may comment on issues related to public education. The Dickenson County School Board believes that the citizens of the county should be heard and that this is an acceptable format for receiving public comment. After the public comment section of the meeting is closed, the public should not be allowed to participate in general board member discussions regarding agenda items. Public participation with the board members regarding agenda items can be disruptive, and the practice is prohibited by Robert's Rules of Order. It is the desire of the school board to treat each member of the public fairly and equally. Allowing one individual to participate while excluding others is unfair. The board may hold such public hearings as may be necessary to allow the public to more fully express their concerns, or the board may place the public comment section of any meeting at the end of the meeting to allow additional public comments. While we do not wish to restrict the free expression of opinion, we feel that certain restrictions may be necessary so that order and reasonable standards of decorum may be maintained. We ask that the following standards be adhered. The speaker will be recognized by the chair. Each speaker will be limited to 5 minutes. Speakers will refrain from the use of vulgarity or profanity and will avoid negative or embarrassing comments directed toward specific children or students. Board members should not respond to issues presented by speakers unless clarification is necessary. Matters of concern raised under public comment will be referred to the proper official for investigation and future board member consideration if necessary.
Thank you, Mr. Hackney. The board would like to recognize Steve Short, VPE.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, Ms. Robinson, this time of year, the sap's rising. And as I looked that up, I worked with a guy decades ago, Garnet Gillum, who used to say that this time of year. So I looked that up, and it was saying a new energy comes about. And it really does, especially for those kids in school. So, having said that, I'm wishing peace and calm for teachers and students as SOL testing is about ready to begin. Also wishing peace and calm that the governor signs the budget on May the 2nd, which would probably be a record time that it's been signed, because it's usually sometime in the summer, late summer, or even August. And I'm wishing peace and calm for you folks as you end one school year and you're almost ready to begin another. Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but that's the way it happens.
Thank you. Bill Smalls with DEA.
Good evening. We had our yearly DEA conference, and this year, for the first time ever, it was in beautiful Southwest Virginia. We had it in Abingdon. That's the first time that it's ever come, and we had folks from all over Virginia to come, and they seemed to enjoy the region and everything. What Mrs. Robinson passed out is came from our Government Relations Committee. They have looked at every school division in Virginia and broke down what federal funding we could possibly be impacted by if we lose the Department of Education. So that being said, I'm not going to go over it. You can look at it for yourselves. And as Mr. Short said, it is coming to an end this year, and we do need some peace and calm. So I appreciate everything you do, and if you have any questions, you can let me know, or there's a number on there that you can call. Thank you.
Thank you. You have anyone else for public comment? All right. Our next agenda item is the consent agenda, which includes the approval of minutes, approval of monthly invoices, revenue and expenditure summary, discussion of school activity funds, approval of field trips, approval of the new elementary school construction invoices, the approval of the construction bank reconciliation document, and the Dickenson County Public Schools health statement account. Are there any questions on the consent agenda? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
I have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Rasnick. Thank you. Are there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? So our next agenda item is information for the school board. Mrs. Robinson.
Thank you, Mr. Hicks. Board members, good evening. Just a couple of items on information for the board. Of course, next Tuesday, April the 29th, is the VSBA Spring Regional Meeting. The theme, Champions for Impact. If we can help you with transportation or anything that we can assist you with, please let us know, and we will certainly be more than glad to do that. On May the 30th, 2025, is the 2025 VSBA School Law Conference. I think some of you may have attended last year. If you're interested in attending that, please let us know, especially Tanya Baker, and she will be more than happy to assist you in making the accommodations for that. Mr. Hicks, you may want to add more on the VSBA regional meeting, sir.
Well, you know, I've been plugging this for quite some time now, and we've all signed them up. So I'll tell you a little bit, maybe not so much about this one coming up, but I'll tell you what happened next month. Next month, I'm going to brag a whole lot on Tanya Baker and all these folks that are doing the things to put this meeting on, and because they've really done a good job. Without spoiling anything, you're going to be able to, a lot of our CTE and a lot of our other programs are going to be highlighted there, and so Dickenson County Schools students will be able to, they're going to show off and show out and represent us well. So I'm looking forward to it, and you know, I don't even know exactly what they're going to do, but I'm sure it's going to be great, and so we're just looking forward to it. So be there. You thank you, y'all promised, so here we go. The only other thing I would mention about that, we do have some confirmation from some of our senators and delegates, and part of this meeting is that we can pose questions to them in an open forum. And so if you've got questions that you would like to ask of our leaders there related to education, just let me know. I'll be collecting those things, and we can ask those folks any of those questions at that time. So the format they did last year, they were very open and honest about things, and it was very informative. So if you have any questions at all, just email me or email Ms. Robinson, and she can forward it on to me if you don't have my email. And it should be a really good event. All right. Let's see. And so the next item is good news from our school. Ms. Robinson.
I will ask Ms. Martin to come and share some good numbers with us. Ms. Martin, thank you.
Good evening, board members. I'd like to share our March attendance and enrollment figures with you tonight. In your packet, as usual, I've included attendance percentages, the comparison for the last 4 years, the entry and withdrawals, the absence intervention team notes, and then the monthly picture of the incentives that the schools have been able to implement. For March, we show that we have 1,703 students enrolled in the K through 12. We have 73 students in pre-K and the 3-year-old and postgraduate, for a total of 1,781 students. I'm tickled to death to share with you our monthly attendance percentages. The schools have really taken this on as a challenge and a competition. Ridgeview Middle School won the attendance banner for the month of March with 91.77%. Close behind, I had to run this report about 4 times because they kept sending it back and forth. Check it again, check it again. Ridgeview Elementary School at 91.61%. And then Ridgeview High School at 91.15%. So you see how close that is, why I had to keep running that report for them, which leaves the district for the month at 91.51%. We want to recognize all the folks that are involved with attendance, the attendance clerks, the administrators. Attendance is a real bear keeping up with. It's a hard job, and those folks are doing a tremendous job, so we want to recognize those folks. Chronic absenteeism, we're tickled with those numbers as well. And I've included that in your packet, just a comparison of where we were this year versus where we are this year. We show an improvement for Ridgeview Elementary School of 8%. For Ridgeview Middle School, we show an improvement of 8%, and for Ridgeview High School, we show an improvement of 10%. So we're tickled with that as well, and that just shows you the dedication of the school and the school employees, school staff, and as well as the families and students to improve their attendance and coming to school and making that effort. So we're excited about that. And I will entertain any questions that you may have about attendance or enrollment at this time.
Any questions? I think we're good, Ms. Martin.
Okay, thank you so much.
Our next agenda item is the approval of the 2025-26 Special Education Plan and Budget. Ms. Edwards.
Good evening, board members. I'm here again, one last time, to present the special education plan and budget to you for your approval. I think Ms. Tanya did send you an electronic copy of the plan. I'm only going to take a few minutes to go over a couple of notes with you, and then I'll entertain any questions.
The Part B, Section 611, flow-through special education grant budget application for 25-26 was prepared based upon last year's allocation of $558,531. And the Part B, Section 619, which is our preschool funds, was prepared based on last year's allocation of $31,784. Final notification will be sometime in July. If everything works the way it has in the past. We're a little unsure about this at this point. A couple of notes down in the body of the budget. If you will look at your personnel services, that is the bulk of our budget, $346,719.26. And if you look in column E, proportionate set aside, we do have to set aside funds each year for all of the students that are parentally placed homeschool children. We currently have 12 students for a total of $22,491.12, and the total budget for personnel services is $369,210.38. Benefits is $52,281.74, and neither of those amounts completely or totally fund the personnel in those areas. It only funds 10 positions partially. Materials and supplies, $21,000. Oh, sorry, I skipped purchase services. $116,038.88, and that includes any of the contracted services that we provide to our students. And for the total budget of $558,531. And then the 619, which is our preschool budget, on the second page, hopefully, of your handout. Again, personnel services is $20,845. And again, we only pay for our preschool teacher and some aides with that money. Purchase services, contracted services is $45.47. Materials and supplies is $63.92 for a total budget of $31,784. We're requesting your approval of the Part B 611 flow-through special education and Part B Section 619 preschool grant applications and budgets for the 25-26 school year as presented. Do you have any questions for me? The notebooks are getting smaller. That's a very good sign.
Any questions or comments, Ms. Edwards? Not, do I hear a motion for the approval of the 25-26 DCBS school year?
So moved.
We'll have a
Second.
motion and a second, Mr. Hackney. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right. Next is the approval of the 2025-2026 technical Perkins plan and budget, Ms. Edwards.
Yes. Again, the estimated budget is based on last year's allocation of $59,523.57. We will get our final allocation sometime in July. Again, this is a federal program, so we're unsure at this point of when the actual allocation will come through. But as you can see at the bottom, you have a summary of the budget worksheet. Again, personal services is $2,750. That is a small percentage of the salary for the director. Purchase services is $24,000. We have some online supports, ICEV, and several other electronic supports, virtual options for our students, and that's $24,000. But the meat of our budget for career technical education is through capital outlay, which is for equipment. That's $32,773.57 for a total of $59,523.57. The full plan, again, was provided for your review, and we're asking approval for the Carl D. Perkins Career and Technical Education plan and budget for the 25-26 school year as presented. And I'm glad to answer any questions that you may have. And both of these plans have been presented to my local advisory committees and approved by them.
questions for Ms. Edwards? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve the 2025-26 DCPS Career Service Plan
So
and
moved.
budget? Got a motion by Mr. Mullins, do I have a second? Second, Mr. Razzak, thank you. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, Ms. Edwards.
And Mr. Hicks, please remind me to not leave here unless I get your signature on both of these tonight. So hopefully we won't get excited and
Well,
run off.
We better ask Tanya to remind me, to remind you to remind me.
Mr. Hicks, my apologies to the board. I left out an agenda item from your notes, sir, and that is update on the FY26 DCPS budget with Lacey Edwards. And so if she could come at this time.
Okay.
Again, I apologize
Oh,
for
no
the
problem.
confusion.
You know she's come to give us good news. Never.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to provide you a brief update on the FY26 budget process. As mentioned earlier, the governor currently has the General Assembly's budget and is currently reviewing that. He does have until May the 2nd to take action. I think that's one day next week. He can either sign the bill, veto it, or make amendments. So at this time, we're currently in a holding pattern until that determination has been made, and we do hope to have more information for you at the May school board meeting. Does anybody have any questions regarding that?
You don't have any updates since the last meeting, do you?
No.
It's still staying the same?
Yes, sir.
Any other questions, Ms. Edwards?
Okay, thank you all.
Next is the approval of new mathematics textbooks for grades 6 through 12. Mr. Deal.
Okay, I guess you get tired of seeing me because I brought this textbook up 2 or 3 times in the past, but we have officially nearing the end of our 7-year adoption for our math textbooks. And so what I have been part of in the last 6 months is the CIP consortium. And what we've done is, as a group, we've sat down and reviewed all the textbooks. We kind of rated them. And so they are pushing towards the math space, as I shared with you earlier. But I wasn't really sure that that's what we wanted to do, so I allowed our teachers to get involved with the pilot program. And just so you know some of the comments that I got from them, one of them said, "This is the best textbook we have had in a long time. We love the online platform. They just generally just love it. Students get instant feedback, and the books are excellent." So those are the comments that I received from my teachers after we went through the pilot. So tonight, if we could, for grades 6 through 12 only, could we approve the math space textbooks for our division? If you don't have any questions.
Any questions? I appreciate you collecting the feedback from teachers and letting them be involved in those things since they have to deal with it day in and day out. So that was very good feedback from them. Do I have a motion to approve the Kingdom as a new mathematics series for grades 6 through 12?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
and one more thing I'll mention. We're still working on the K-5 books. The book that's out there that we have to evaluate, it's the best one that's aligned, but it doesn't align that well. We kind of ranked that book. It's the best that's out. The Board of Education is putting out more books that we can look at. This company is another small company. They have agreed to go in and make changes so it better aligns to our curriculum. So as I learn more about that, I'll share that with you. Okay. Thank
Thanks.
you.
All right, our next agenda item is the approval of the proposed DCPS policy, JOD, for the release of student data records and regulations. Ms. Martin.
Good evening once again, board members. Policy JOD and JODF is the policy that we spoke about last month, the release of student data, and then the form. Last month that you asked me to get some feedback from Scott Mullins, our school board attorney, and I did so. I sent it to him, gave him time to look over it, and then he and I had a conversation. According to Mr. Mullins, the first thing that he does when I send him a policy is he looks at the legal references. And so his recommendation when he looked at the code on it was, which is code 22.1-79.3, it read, care for, manage, and control the property of the school division and provide for the erecting, furnishing, equipping, and non-instructional operating of necessary school buildings and the maintenance thereof by purchase, lease, and other contracts. He didn't feel like that had anything to do with the policy. So his recommendation was to change that code on the policy. So I did that. And then his other recommendation was, instead of having two policies, that to make the JODF, which was the form, to make it a regulation and to make one policy, and I also did that. And then just to clarify, this form would only be used by like CPMT, behavioral health, DSS, the juvenile justice, which we already provide them with information for students per Code of Virginia, but this would actually give us a way to track and to have them fill out a form. Basically gives us a little bit better record keeping of when we do provide information to them. It's not a general public kind of form. It would only be for those agencies. So we sent this to you earlier last week to let you review the changes that we made per Mr. Mullins' recommendations. And at this time, I'll ask if you have any questions.
Well, each of these forms, or the form, requires parental signature, doesn't it?
Correct.
Any other questions for Ms. Martin?
Hearing none, I would ask for approval then.
Is there a motion to approve the proposed DCPS policy JOD as presented?
So moved.
Moved by Mr. Mullins. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Hagney. Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
And then the last policy that I brought before you was BBBB, which was the student member of the school board. We're still in the working out, I guess, trying to get some input. We've had some great input from you, Mr. Hicks, and I think Chris Owens had some input. I'll share that back with Ms. Robinson and have her share that with you so that you guys can look at that for the input that we've had so far to see if you have any further input, and we'll hopefully bring that before the board next month or possibly in June so that we can get that set for next school year. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next agenda item is approval to pay invoices after April the 23rd. Ms. Evans.
Hello again. The Finance Department would like to ask for the board's approval to pay a limited amount of invoices at the end of April, 1st of May, because of our meeting date today, the 23rd, and we had spring break last week. We had to cut off our invoice processing last Thursday, the 17th, and we believe we'll receive some invoices this last week of April that will need to be paid to avoid late fees before we can get them paid at the May meeting. So we would just like your approval to be able to pay those handful of invoices, and we'll keep you updated, and you'll have that in your May board packets for approval as well. Any questions on that?
So is there a motion to approve paying invoices after April the 23rd?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all.
And the next agenda item is the discussion and approval of the proposed 3-year-old program. Ms. Deal.
Good evening. I'm not sure if you have.
Ms. Steele, if you could speak closer to the microphone if you can.
Good evening.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you have this information in your packet or not. I think you do.
They do.
Okay. Just wanted to have a discussion and hopefully get approval for a 3-year-old program. Many schools around us have been serving 3-year-old children for the past several years. 10 out of 21 divisions in Southwest Virginia have a 3-year-old program, including our neighboring counties, Wise and Buchanan. Parents have asked us for a few years now about a 3-year-old program. And being a public school system and having surrounding counties with them, we did entertain the idea of that. We knew developing a 3-year-old program and managing a 3-year-old program would be challenging, and we didn't feel we were up to that challenge at the time. As you know, last school year we opened a brand new elementary school, and this school year we had more students transferring to that new school, and we just thought with all the movement going on and all the changes going on, a 3-year-old program wasn't really something that we wanted to take on at that time. Mostly because of the space, though. We didn't feel like we had the extra space for a 3-year-old classroom, and actually it appears for the next school year, a lot of those things might change. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention and talk about that a little bit. One of our major concerns, as I said, in developing a 3-year-old program has always been having enough space for it. We did not have the space for a 3-year-old classroom. As of right now, unfortunately, our 4-year-old pre-K applications for the 25-26 school year are at an all-time low. As of today, I only have 38 preschool for 4-year-old applications. That's pretty low. This current school year that we're in has been a low enrollment year for pre-K. We only have 54, 55, 56 pre-K students in our program for this year, is all we've had, which is low. Right now, having 38 applications is low compared to this time last year. This time last year, we had about 48. And then throughout the summer, as we typically do, I got more applications in, and that number went up to, I think, 56. And then we've lost a couple throughout the year. So that just gives you an idea. We're about 10 applications lower than we were last year, and last year was about 10 applications lower this time of the year than the year before, okay? So our numbers do usually increase, as I said, throughout the summer. It is common for us to get 10 to 12 more applications during the summer. But even with that, our numbers will be lower, I believe. So a 3-year-old program looks more favorable because we would have the space. The thought would be if we get 10 more applications, we would have maybe around 48 kids, and we could house those into 3 pre-K classrooms that we have now, and then we would have that one free classroom freed up for a 3-year-old classroom. So that's our thoughts. A 3-year-old program would allow us to serve students for 2 years instead of 1 in preparation for kindergarten, and oftentimes we see that that's much needed with some of our students. It would also allow us the opportunity to identify students who have special needs at age 3 instead of age 4. which would allow us to start serving them sooner, which is optimal for those special needs students. Lots of parents have told us that they don't have affordable daycare near their home. So this would allow us to help families out that need daycare. And we've seen, especially since COVID, a lot of isolation with students. They need to be socialized at an earlier age, and that would help us with that, getting them ready for kindergarten. For these reasons, we feel a 3-year-old program is needed in our county. A couple of weeks ago, to give you an idea, we posted information on our school web pages and on our social media pages to try to gauge interest to see if parents were interested in a 3-year-old program for Dickenson County Public Schools. And we got an overwhelming amount of interest. I was not expecting that much interest at all. But within a couple of hours, we had about 25 responses. And as of today, we have 41 parents that have filled out an interest form that are interested in enrolling their 3-year-old child in a 3-year-old program for Dickenson County Public Schools. If we were to implement a 3-year-old program, we would request those slots with our Virginia Preschool Initiative application, which is coming due soon. That needs to be submitted by May 15th. So what would happen is I would ask for 4-year-old slots like I typically do. Those are decided for us, the number of slots that we can ask for each year. This year, we've been given 48 slots, I think, and I'm hoping to get up to that number, okay? If we did a 3-year-old program, then I would ask for 3-year-old slots in addition to those, because those 3s and 4s are not interchangeable, so I would have to ask for 3-year-old slots. We have discussed it, and we would like to ask for about 12 3-year-old slots because we don't want to overwhelm ourselves in starting this 3-year-old program. We wanted to kind of start small. So the plan would be to have a 3-year-old classroom with no more than 12 3-year-olds in it to start out with. And then the money from that would come from our VPI application. We are not guaranteed those 3-year-old slots. They're competitive, so we can ask for them, and we won't find out if we get them until July 1st. So they would be treated like our 4-year-old pre-K students. They would get to ride the bus. They would have breakfast and lunch and a couple of snacks a day. We would have a teacher within the classroom and at least one aide in the classroom. So that's kind of our plan, our thinking, kind of answering to the needs that have been expressed by parents over the years. Any discussion or questions that you have for me about it?
You said you're looking at a max enrollment of 12?
Yes. We have way more than that at interest. Those are still just interests, you know. As we worked through it, I don't know how many of those would actually enroll them, but we have a lot more interest. But we thought we would start with 12 3-year-old slots, put them in one classroom.
Would there be a way to determine what 12 got it if you had more than that?
Yes, that's a good question. The 3-year-old slots would be similar in criteria to our 4-year-old slots. We have to look at the criteria from the state that the state gives us, which is 4 main criteria. And then I'm assuming that there would be a certain percentage of those that we could fill with local criteria too. So they would be ranked and in order of need.
And I imagine that there would be probably a minimal amount you would need to make it feasible to run, right?
We were thinking 12 would be a good number, yeah.
You get to 12 to run it?
Yes.
Okay.
How many adults will be there?
At least one teacher and at least one instructional aide.
So the 3-year-olds, do they come on the bus, or does the parents deliver?
They can do either one. We thought we would allow them to ride the school bus like our 4-year-olds do, but a lot of parents do choose to drop them off and pick them up.
This would be a 5-day
Yes.
school week for each.
Yes, it would be 5 days. I did check on that because a lot of parents did ask me about that, if it would be required to send them all 5 days. And I did ask about that, and it would be a 5-day program. Another reason for that was we would want to offer them the option of riding the bus.
Me personally, I feel like if we got the room, it would definitely be a great service to our county and those students that are most needed, because it's going to be based upon need. So
It will be based upon need.
So
And we've
it-
never had the room until now, and it looks like we will now.
it is odd. The first time I saw a 3-year-old, I mean, it looked like they'd ripped him off the Gerber baby jar. I mean, I twin, and so it was odd to see it. But anyway, it's a good program for them if you get the opportunity to do it.
Would we want to go ahead and do a vote on it and just get it approved?
Yeah, I'll make that motion to
Second.
approve.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And the motion is to approve the proposed 3-year-old program as presented. And so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, this time we'll have board comments. Mr. Hackney, you want to go first?
Sure. Liked hearing tonight that, it seems like that there's, it dates back a while that we've been trying to get out of that whole rut that lasted for a while with COVID. I think that impacted attendance, and it seems like we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel for that, and that doesn't happen without a lot of people putting the effort in for that. The promotional pieces of that, and just the attendance, staff, and leadership really making the effort to get us back to where we were, and I think seem like we're on the right track. So appreciate that, and it's good to hear that.
I think this 3-year-old program will be a great success, and certainly applaud those that put this together. I'd like to ask Ms. Robinson to kind of provide a summary for us for this year for our students and what they have done. With everything that's happened, we get a little peek every month, and I'd like to just see a summary of the 24-25 school year, about all the awards they've won, all the competitions they've been in, and see that in a summary page, and hopefully make that as public. It's in the paper maybe once a week or a few times a year, but we've had an excellent representation of our students in so many activities out there. And I got a good look yesterday evening at the field up here, bringing my granddaughter up for softball practice. They had a soccer game going on one field, and a baseball game going on the other one, and the I guess JV softball girls were up in the batting cage. So it's kind of surprising to see that many people up there, but I certainly was pleased by seeing all that. We've been blessed with an amazing facility, and it's good to see all those children have the opportunity that many of us growing up did not have. And for Adrian White and all the work his team has done, and all the others, the band and everybody else, all the awards they've got, a good summary of that to have, and I think for all the parents to see in one summarized paper would be a good thing to have for the community to share. And,
Yes, sir, I'll be glad to do that.
I just hope that everybody we only have one month left, basically, I guess. The last day of school was set to be
May the 30th? May the 30th, sir.
graduation
That day, sir, at 6 o'clock.
at 6 o'clock,
I'm sorry, I told you wrong. May 23rd at 6 o'clock.
May 23rd.
Yes, sir, at 6 o'clock.
She was trying to make me miss graduation. Yeah.
At 6 o'clock.
Well, that's not far away, and there's a lot of things not to done between now and then, but I certainly am proud of all the efforts of the teachers and the students and their parents, families, to make all these good things happen. And we've been, in that regard, very successful as a school system.
Well, I'll just echo what these guys have said. Very, very appreciative of because those attendance numbers are impressive. At how much better we've done. We appreciate everybody who has worked on that. And I was going to ask earlier who kept asking you to run that report, but I think I know. So.
No. Surprisingly, it was all three principals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was all three of them. I finally just had to say, I'm not running it anymore.
There you go.
We're living with this number.
There we go.
They've all become very competitive, and I love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mr. Hicks, they've also wanted an independent consultant to check the numbers. So this is how far we've gone with this.
Because
Well-
I have two science guys and a math guy, and I'm not any of that. So they're checking my math. So I have Dennis and Kevin checking my math behind me. But the only thing is they're being successful, so they can be as competitive as they want. Because I love competition, so I'm good with that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great.
And our kids are being successful, so that's what matters.
And I'd imagine our kids are becoming a little bit competitive as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh, excuse me. The 3-year program, I'm excited to get that started. I think, especially that's going to help out the kids with the most need. So hopefully we'll get a few slots and make that happen. And then just once again, I want to applaud the efforts that everybody's been putting in for this VSBA meeting that's coming up on the 29th at 5 p.m. And so, but I'm excited to see what our kids are going to do. The band's going to be there. A few members of the band will be there. Our department's going to be there. CTE's made some things, and so it's going to be a really good time. So you guys will be very proud of our students as they get to represent to the entire region.
Absolutely.
Mo?
Well, today as I pulled up out on the parking lot, I looked out and I seen everybody in short sleeve shirts, and then realized another season's come. And in hindsight, I was thinking about what a successful year that our school system's had. It's been with a lot of hard work and endeavors that everybody's pursued together. And I agree with the rest of the guys about the 3-year-old program. I think that would be really good. I would like to look back at maybe 60 years old and see how I would react as a 3-year-old on the school bus, but I think that's a good thing. And, our attendance percentages are up, and there's been a lot of really hard work with that. If you look at those comparisons, how much better the attendance is now. And I think you got to get them here to teach them. And I think that's a wonderful attribute. And I think about just a month, less than a month, May 30th at 6 p.m. is graduation.
No, May 23rd
Oh, May 23rd.
at 6 p.m.
At 6.
Yes, sir, 6 p.m.
Rick will show up on May 30th, wonder where everybody's at.
Well, I would just like to add, I'd like to wish everybody the best of luck as we go into taking that SOL test and all those things. So I appreciate all the efforts of our teachers and what our students will put in here at the end of these tests. So that'll be good. And just I'd just like to mention for everyone to keep Shanghai Nichols and his family in your thoughts and prayers right now as he's ill. And so, but just keep that family in mind. And Shanghai, he's sure, served a long time right here on this board and did so much for Dickenson County. So, all right. Well, at this time, we'll go into closed session. Closed session pursuant to section 2.2-3711, paragraph A of the Code of Virginia. There will be a closed session for the purpose of 1, employment issues relating to discussion and consideration of specific individuals for employment, such as a head custodian, occupational therapists, substitutes, resignations, and retirements pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-37118. And 2, to consult with legal counsel regarding the investment of public funds associated with school construction and consultation regarding actual or probable litigation, along with consultation regarding specific matters requiring legal advice pursuant to Virginia Code Section 2.2-71A, 6, 7, and 8 of the Code of Virginia. Do I hear a motion to go into closed session?
So moved.
I have a motion. I have a second.
Second.
And a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Is there a motion to come out of closed session?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are now out of closed session. Mrs. Robinson, will you please read the certification?
Yes, sir. Whereas the Dickenson County School Board has convened a closed meeting on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote, and in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas 2.2-3712D of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the school board that such closed meeting was conducted in conformity with the Virginia law, now therefore be it resolved that the Dickenson County School Board hereby certifies that to the best of each member's knowledge, 1, only the public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements by the Virginia law were discussed, and 2, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered. Would you please certify?
I certify.
I certify.
I certify.
I certify.
Board members, are there any motions to come from closed session?
Mr. Chairman, I move that employment recommendations be approved as presented in closed session.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. Is there any other business to discuss? Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.